Hi guys, so I had a couple requests for the video on this stamp set, which was an add-on with last month's kit. So we're going to do that today. I actually, to make sure I had some idea of what I was doing, made a set with these cards of 9 cards. We're going to do the 10th one together. And I'll tell you a few things I learned doing it as we're making the card. So let's get started. You're going to want to use some type of stamping tool unless you're really good with an acrylic block, because some of these stamps take more than one stamping to imprint. Now you don't have to use watercolor paper. That's what this one is. It's 140 pound Strathmore watercolor paper. I did do a few on Bristol Smooth. That worked also. You just can't add as much water to it when you're doing the watercolor. Also, I did not use watercolor on these cards. I used Arteza and Zig markers because I'm not very good at watercoloring without a water brush, or I'm not very good at watercoloring in general, and I wasn't comfortable enough doing it in a video yet, but I will practice my watercoloring skills, guys, so they're at least, you know, okay to share with you guys on projects. So yeah, I used Zig markers. You can use any colors you want. I did some of my cards all in grays. I did some of them with multiple colors. This one's gonna have colors on it. This was really fun to do. I did notice that doing a whole set of 10 cards, oops, sorry guys, 10 cards all at once made it a little bit more difficult for me to make sure all my scenes were different, but it wasn't too bad. And I did put a moon on a couple of mine. I just traced a circle from one of the bottoms of my embossing powder jars and used that and just went over it with a Sharpie on the cards that I did moons on. Because there's no moon, as you can see on this set. We're getting a glare. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can make, there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so let's get started. Enough talk. I'll talk as we're going. I used VersaFine for this because we're only using the Zig markers or the Arteza markers or watercolor paints. If you guys plan on using something else like alcohol markers, you're going to want to use a more alcohol marker friendly ink like Lawn Fawn Jet Black or Memento Tuxedo Black or Simon Says Stamp Intense Black. Those are the 3 that I use the most with my alcohol markers. Ignore my black lines there on my Misty. Whenever I'm using a whole ink pad to ink up a stamp, I usually miss the stamp and hit the Misty instead. And all I can think of every time I do it is what a waste of ink. You're going to want something handy to wipe off your stamps because you're going to be interchanging them a lot. I have my stamp chamois here. I don't know if you can see what I mean. You see how there's spots? You definitely want to go over that again. I don't know if I told you guys, but my microphone adapter came in my last delivery, so I have everything I need. I'm just trying to find a editing app. I'm fooling around with a couple now, but as you know, I've been sick and I had a birthday party to deal with, so this is another see me with no editing video because I haven't had time to figure out the editing on the apps that I am playing around with. And I'm just switching it up. I'm taking different mountain stamps, the solid ones, and just doing my landscape the way I think it'll look good. And you want it I wanted mine to look realistic, but not too realistic. Like, I didn't want to have to make sure that you saw land or you saw... It was okay that stuff was floating, that it wasn't grounded, because it was more like a... I don't know how to explain it. I don't know much about Chinese ink painting or Japanese ink painting. I just looked a few things up online. I noticed a lot of the black and gray paintings, ink paintings, bring in red at some point. But almost everything I saw when it used just black and gray and brought in some red was either flowers that were blooming on a tree, those were red, or sometimes the moon was red. So I didn't really fool around too much with red and gray together. I'll show you my cards that I did make at the end. I did try it out on a couple cards. I'm not sure if it looks right to me, so I kind of stayed away from it with the rest of the cards. Excuse me, I still have a cough. So once again, there's no editing in this video, so if you happen to hear Jax wake up and cry, or Riley wake up, that's why, because I don't have the editing features yet. Alright, so I got my mountains down there on the bottom, and I think next I'm going to place, I know I want to have my town over here where like my little house is. And I want to have my waterfall in there off to the side because I'm going to do more than one set of those houses. But I also want to leave room for this little guy, this little like tower looking temple. I think of it as a temple. So we're going to do it like that. I'm going to move him up a little. Alright. And I made this panel bigger than an A2 card because I'm going to trim it down. You certainly don't have to start like that. You could always have it at the size you already want. But I kind of came up with, I was fooling around with the idea of saving the black and white strips off the edges and making something out of them, but you know, I didn't come up with that idea until halfway through the set of cards, so we'll see. This probably didn't need to be re-inked, but I'm going to do it anyway. And there was quite a few ways to mix and match the sentiments that came with the stamp set. You know what? That other stamp set that came as an add-on, I don't remember the name of it, but it had a moon, it had some Chinese lanterns, and a little rabbit. That one would have gone good with this stamp set. You could have interchanged a lot of those stamps to make more scenes, I think. I was looking at it the other day, and it just seemed like a lot of those stamps would look cool interchanged with the stamp set. So you see there's a lot of wiping off of the stamps every time you move them, because trust me guys, there was a couple times that I moved the stamps, and as careful as I was moving them without wiping them off, I still managed to get smears on my panel, and then of course you have to find a way to cover it up. So to save myself the trouble, I'm just wiping them off every time in between. And another problem with this is you never, you know, it's tough to know when to stop. You don't want it to look bare, but you definitely don't want it to look overcrowded. So that's something to experiment with too. I would definitely recommend making more than 1 or 2 of these cards and seeing what you can come up with, and color combinations and backgrounds and card-based colors. I had a hard time choosing card-based colors and mattes and decided to go with a simple black and white, and I like the way it looks. I also had a hard time deciding. Now I think I want more of those, but I'm going to wait until I put the other stuff on and see how crowded it looks. Anyway, I was thinking about putting strips with my sentiments on the card front, and then decided against it and stamped my sentiments right onto the card base. See, I already have a smudge right there. So I'm going to have to figure out something to put there. I don't know if it was from my fingers or what. I haven't decided. I kind of thought about this card ahead of time because I didn't want to have an extra long video like we did with the last one. But it's just a sketch. I wasn't quite sure what exactly I was going to use. So we're just going to play it by ear here. This is where it could take a little bit longer because if you're not sure what you're going to do. I did sit and think about some of these cards for a little bit, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Taking some time, walking away from them, coming back and doing some more. But, that's, like I said, that was just once I got up to, like, cards 8, 9. It was a little bit more difficult to say, okay, well, how can I make this look different? There's that broken light above me, guys. Turns on when it wants, turns off when it wants. Hey, this is where I wanted to see if I wanted to put a solid one in there. And I think I do. Just because I haven't done it yet, and I want them to all look a little different. Get this off there before it smears on my card. So I noticed my card kit, the October card kit for Hero Arts, mine was being shipped today. I cannot wait to get it, but I want to make some Halloween cards first of my own before I break into the Christmas kit. I'm not quite into the Christmas spirit yet. I'm not going to wait to do the kit, but I definitely want to make some Halloween cards first. I don't know how many of you bought the stamp set, but I definitely think it was well worth the money. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that smudge, guys. I can tell you that my very first smudge, I tried to use a white Jelly Roll pen on. That didn't quite work. So I'm not going to do that. And that's, it probably wasn't a very bright idea of mine to try and use a white Jelly Roll pen to cover up black ink on watercolor paper anyway. But duh, that would be me. But I tried my sand eraser and that didn't work. And I just wasn't sure what else to do. It was in, a couple of them were in spots where it was really, by the time I noticed them, it was really too late to cover them up. All right, let's go for this one. In there. If you guys could just bear with me 1 second. I'm dying of thirst over here. I had to grab my sugar-free Red Bull. I don't want to use this whole stamp. So I'm going to try to just ink up that little hill part. You can do that too. You can use bits and pieces of stamps. I want to see where this, I want a little bit farther to fill in that gap, and I'm going to see where it lands. You can always put a tree there if it doesn't look right, and I think that looks just fine. All right, we're almost done here with this part. So I think I am going to add at least one more row, and then maybe some trees there. Alright, trees. That'll cover up the ink splotch. Now you see, once I put these trees in, you should definitely see what I mean about floating rather than grounded. I mean, if you guys want to make a scene where everything's grounded and looks as it should, I'm sure that would look beautiful too. But that would require a lot of additional drawing to make ground lines and stuff like that. And when it comes to something that looks like this, I'm just not very good at that. So I think this looks good. It's what I'm looking for, at least. Now we can't just, see, having one little group in the trees just doesn't look right to me, but this guy's a little too big. So I think we're gonna have to go in with this little tiny pine tree. But I'm gonna put him on acrylic block because he's just too much of a pain in the butt to move, just to stamp some little guys in there. And I know that blends in, but I don't want it to be just pine trees over here. And I wanted it to look like they were behind that grouping. think we'll put a couple here. That's it for those. And I don't know if I want a moon or if I want a bird. I don't think it would be, I don't know. I think the dimension, would the dimension be off if I have both, do you think? Let's see, there's one more bird here, but he comes in from the other direction. And that's what I mean by overcrowding. I think he's too big. So it's either the moon or the bird. Unless I have the moon. Oh, that won't look right. The moon does not rise, the sun does. And I think we're gonna go with the moon, guys. All right. So I'm just gonna trace it in there with a pencil. And then I have my Sharpie fine liner. I think I'm actually gonna take it out of there though. And if I can't tell if my head's in the way, but if it is, I apologize. Alright, so there's my moon. And to make it look a little more like a moon, we're going to add some, like, I don't know if this is meant to be wind or clouds or a combination of both. But I've been using it as clouds. And also, so I could have clouds going in the opposite direction, I've been flipping it upside down. So this little guy here, bring him in like that, the way he's supposed to be. And then I'm going to bring them in upside down. Now, it's not perfect, but I like the way it looks. All right. I'm just gonna, all right guys, somebody come find my Sharpie. I can't find it. Here it is. I'm just gonna fill this in a little because I did not use the MISTI and it didn't stamp all the way. That looks better. So here we go with that. Now, real quick, before we color, I'm going to trim it down. Now my mat is, let's see here. This is my mat. I cut the center out, guys. Pay no attention to that unless you're trying to save on paper. But that was going to be totally covered up. So I cut the center out of that with my wonky stitch die. and I'm going to use it on my Halloween cards. So I have 10 of these now to use on Halloween cards. I don't know if you can see the stitching. See it there? So I have 10 of those to use on the Halloween cards. And my mat for this card is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Yeah, 5 3/8. Almost the entire size. You know, just to leave a tiny little white border around the edge of the card. I already have my double-sided tape on it and ready to go because I was trying to prep anything I could for you guys. Alright, so this I want to be an even 4 inches by 5 1/4. So we're going to try to cut off an even amount from both sides, so 1/4 inch from both sides. And then from this, see, now it's too dark because that light bulb went out again. Sorry, fixing my lights and then I jiggle you all around. So sorry guys. 5 1/2. So 1/8 from each side. Alright, so that's the final size of my panel. And that's 4 by 5 1/4. So now I'm just going to make sure this ink is dry. And yes, I know I don't have a sentiment on it yet. I'm doing that last. I don't want to decide my colors based on where my sentiment is on the card. I want to add the sentiment afterwards. I don't know, it just seems like the final thing. It was fun to place the sentiment after my card was already all said and done. So I chose some colors here from the Zigs. You can use anything you want. Like I said, for half the cards I did just a variation of grays. And I think I used, let's see here, blue gray on those ones, green gray, gray brown, and regular gray. And elephant gray from Arteza. Now for this card I'm going to use English lavender, pale green, shadow mauve, warm gray 2. And I stuck with the geranium red that I used on the other cards I had red because I wanted that red color to pop compared to everything else. Now that's not to say I won't add another color or two in when we're coloring right now. I have my water brush ready. And basically I just decide what color I want to go where. So I think we're going to start with this shadow mauve. Now I'm just going all around the edge of these clouds with a decent amount of color from the marker. I'm not putting any water down first. I want to control where my color goes when I use the water brush. So now I've got my color down around the clouds. And I basically found just not being super careful was the best way to go. I was controlling it, but only to an extent. So I spread the color out. I made a little tail there. Did the same thing with these, and that's it. Now you guys might have a hard time seeing it. There you go. It's a very pale color on that one. I think I'm going to do these trees with the pale green. Now I'm not gonna, I have not experimented to see how long the color stays wet and how much you can put down before you should stop and really add your water. So I don't put too much on. I go back and add my water. Then I go back and add more color to wherever I need it. I'm by no means an expert, guys. I just want to make that clear. This is just how I decided to do it and the items that I did it with. And I know I sound corny, but I'm not used to doing these tutorial videos because I haven't had the right equipment, so I just got to get used to it, guys, that's all. I'm sure I'll be more fun and rather than babbling once I get used to it. And I don't want the color everywhere. I do want some of the white to show through. I want it to look fairly splotchy. I'm going to add some green up by the waterfall because that looks like trees to me on the side. And just kind of make the color drift off. And I think I want to use a little darker blue for the water. Let's see what we have here. Not dark, but darker compared to the colors I have out. So I'm going to use light blue. And I'm just going to put some strokes down that waterfall. And then a little bit at the bottom. And I make that little foam wider. Maybe not so much darker than the other colors after all, huh, guys? Okay. I think I'm going to use the English lavender on the mountains down here. And because these mountains are mostly black, I'm going to lay a lot of color down in there to spread around. And guys, I know that I don't have the editing yet, but if there's something you think I could do better when I start doing more of these videos, please, by all means, let me know. These videos are for you guys, stuff I want to share with you guys. So you have to let me know if, you know, there's something you prefer, if you don't like the way I'm doing something. I mean, I know everybody's going to have a different opinion. But that doesn't mean I don't want to hear them. I want to hear everybody's opinion. Leave me comments, 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 comments. Let me know how you think I'm doing. Let me know what I could do to make it better. I'm just trying to spread some of that color down a little. So I screwed up a little on that one mountain, as I'm sure you can see, but it's not a big deal. That's why it's splotchy. It's not going to be perfect, at least not if it's mine. I'm going to use warm gray on the moon. I'm just going to put a little color around, put a little color around the blue. Now I am wiping my brush off in between on a rag. I just don't think you guys see it when I do it, but you definitely don't want to have any color left over on your brush when you start a new color. Now you can barely see that on camera, but there is a touch of color around the moon. I might darken it up a little bit when I'm done. I'm going to do more of these mountains up here in English lavender. Ooh, I just screwed up that brush being too rough. And that just was not enough color. So, oh, that's a gray, guys. Know your colors. I'm gonna add some more down here, especially at the base where I want it to spread. All right, that spread a little bit better. And I'm still debating here. And if I want to make those the same colors, or if I think I want to go for more of a blue. So I think I'm going to use some of the Shadow Mauve and then go back in with the English Lavender in some spots. And maybe it'll look like it picked up some of the sky color, and then but still be some of the mountain color below. Not too much though. I'm just putting little dots, little squiggles in there. And I'm only brushing in one direction, away from the blue. And that light popped back on again. Okay, so that's done. All right, let's get these houses done so this doesn't become another hour-and-a-half video for you guys. We're gonna use some, I think we're gonna use some haze blue. I'm trying to check it. Nope, that's too close to the other color. Pale gray, let's try that. I pretty much had to color that whole thing in just to get any color. I think I should have picked a darker gray. But it doesn't look too bad, at least from my standpoint. It might be too light for the camera. And I think, honestly, I'm gonna go with my little pop of red here on these temple-looking buildings. Clean that off really good because I think I'm going to add some more color to the moon. Other than that, it is done. And I'm spreading that color out. All right, so I'm gonna dry that and then I'll give you guys another look at it. You wanna make sure it's good and dry because we're gonna be putting it on our panel and we're gonna be stamping our sentiment. So I was going to emboss my sentiments on, like I said, on a strip of black cardstock with ultrafine white embossing powder. Now I only have one kind of ultrafine embossing powder. I have no idea where it went, but I think my son took it off the shelf. So that was one of the reasons I decided to stamp directly onto the card, and it worked out really well. But now I have to find a jar of embossing powder. Luckily, I did order some Hero Arts Ultra Fine White Embossing Powder in this last order that's coming, so at least I'll have some to use until I find it. Okay, so this is the panel. This is my base. It's a top folding, this one is. It's already got my initials on it and my totally handmade with the year. So I'm going to peel the paper off the double-sided tape. I probably should have had this on the card already, but I wanted you guys to see how I did it and how you can save on paper that won't be seen. Because it's not going to make a difference in the panel because our watercolor panel is going to be popped up on foam tape. I wanted the card to have some dimension because I was trying to keep it simple, but I wanted it to have a decent amount of interest at the same time. And these aren't even. It doesn't matter because it won't be seen. So I didn't mess around with trying to make it perfect. It does make it a little bit harder to lay your panel down. Oh, see? Evenly. I had it even and then it moved. Let's see if I can get it off. Of course that happened on camera. Unreal, guys, right? Now if I was editing, I just ripped it. This is the kind of luck I have, guys. So now I can still use this. And then the bottom stuck. Are you kidding me? Unreal. Unbelievable. Now do you guys understand the luck I've had with video editing and everything else? How nothing ever seems to work for me? This is my luck. I didn't have this problem at all when I did the other 9 cards, guys. I promise you. I'm not even trying to hurry that much. I'm still going to use this panel. Nobody will be able to see the back. It's still usable. The card base, on the other hand, I don't know if that's still usable. We'll have to see in a second if it's covered up. But honestly, if I'm going to give this set away, I really don't want to give away a card base that looks like that underneath. Sorry, bear with me. I just got to put a little bit more tape on the paper that's stuck to the panel. So instead of a short video, once again, ends up being a long one. Not as long, but still. Long enough to aggravate me about the way it went and my bad luck. If it wasn't for bad luck, I would have no luck at all. Actually, before I do that, I should probably see. Definitely need a new panel, guys. Hold on. Okay, here's one. All right. Now I'm going to have a hard time with the tape, right? There we go. So let's try this again. Take your time, guys. Saving on paper is good, but if it buckles in the middle and you're not paying attention, that's what happens. It'll stick to your paper. On the upside, it tells you how good double-sided tape is. Super sticky, man. I'll work on the toughest things. And it went on crooked again. I'm just gonna leave it. Oh, not too bad. That's not too bad, guys. It's way better than I thought it was. All right, let me get rid of these so they don't stick to my card. All right, now I'm going to put my foam tape on my panel. And yes, I know I probably overdo it on foam tape. It's just one of those habits I have. I want to make sure there's no big spaces that make my card sink. So I never make the space in between the foam tape wider than the foam tape itself. I don't know why, it's just something I do. It's kind of like my rule of thumb. I used to use way more. I used to load up the entire back until it was totally covered. That was my beginning of my card making. I've only been making cards for, actually next month will be 2 years. I did crafting, all sorts of crafting, but I never really messed with paper crafting until 2 years ago. I was always sewing or doing woodwork or stuff like that. And you know what? This is probably my favorite thing I've ever done. I enjoy it. I don't know if I'm any good at it. I'm trying to be, you know, trying to make something of this channel and whatnot. But I definitely enjoy it. And I definitely enjoy sharing it with you guys. And here I am babbling again. And yes, I know I didn't stamp my sentiment yet. And it's probably not a good idea to stamp it on foam tape. But so far so good. I did the other 9 like that. Now watch, knock on wood, I'll have bad luck with that too, like I did with the frame. Alright. So here's our card. And see, I like it. Simple. Simple, but pretty. And with the mix of sentiments I already had, I think I'm going to go with may your life be filled with and then I'm going to put serenity, I don't know if that'll work. Those mountains are a little too low. So let's see here. Serenity. And I'm using the combination because the other 9 cards they each have a different sentiment, but from the way I mixed them up, I would have to repeat one of them, and I wanted each one to have something different since 9 of them were already different. And I'm just gonna do, well, I'll do these 2 together, and then I'll do that one by itself. So I'm gonna move that one right out of the way. I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit. I'm trying to make it, that stamp is a little crooked. I don't want it to look crooked on the paper. Alright. And I'm pushing down because it's watercolor paper and it's on foam, you know, foam tape. But I'm not pushing down super hard. I don't want it to get blurry. If I have to fill in a couple spots with my Sharpie, then so be it. I'd rather do that than have something come out blurry or double stamped. There we go. Pretty good, guys. See, it was that knock on the wood. All right, let's see, we gotta darken up here. I'm gonna leave those alone. They're a little light, but they're all printed out, so I'm not gonna make anything a different color. I am gonna add a little comma there and a period there. All right, so here's the card we made together. You can see all those colors. And I'll show you the other cards we made. So now this will be a complete set. There's that one. And we have this guy, Sending You Beauty and Grace. This way you get to see all the different ways I use the stamps and the sentiments. And I hope you guys have fun if you have this set, creating your own. There's that guy. This was one of the ones I used the red on, and I wasn't sure if I liked it. And we've got this one. This one's all in grays. And this one's all in grays. And even that at the bottom is like a gray brown. It's another color one. All grays. Now you can see, you can fix mistakes, because this, I screwed up. I forgot what I did. But I ended up just drawing some squiggly lines in there so it looked more like an ink drawing, and I think it looks cute like that. Then we got this guy. He's another one all in grays. And then finally this one, all in grays except for the two red bridges. And that is geranium red that I used on all these cards. So that's it, guys. I hope those of you that requested this video enjoyed it. Sorry it's still a little long. I'm working on it, I promise. The next video is going to be Halloween cards. And then after that, the Hero Arts kit. I will be doing another giveaway before the month of October is out. If you liked what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. Join us. We have a lot of fun, don't we, guys? And make sure you hit that notification button to hear about those giveaways. You guys have a great night, a wonderful day tomorrow, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.